Thanks for checking in with Yoga for Golfers. I'm Dr. Joe, and today we're talking about tight hips. So the first thing we're going to do is go into a bridge position. In bridge position, you're going to lay your back flat on the ground. You're going to bend your knees, get your feet under you in a stable position. And the first thing we want to do is just get those muscles contracted. So we're going to do a few simple bridge movements. Squeezing your glutes at the top, driving your feet into the ground, and you might even want a little bit of an ab squeeze as you go. Let's do another 3 of these. Do 1, 2, and on the third one we're going to hold. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now, as you drop down, you're going to bring your feet together. Let your knees drop out to the side. That common butterfly stretch we all know as kids. You can bring your hands to your chest and to your stomach, and I just want you to take 3 big, deep breaths. If the pace of your breathing doesn't match mine, that's fine. You might have a longer inhale, a longer exhale, both. Again, kind of like your golf swing, do what feels right for your body. Now, if we want to amplify that stretch a little bit, we can go into a single side kind of butterfly plus. So we'll drop one leg straight, cross the opposite foot on the knee, and let the knee hang down. If you want, you can reach out, you can put a hand on the thigh, add just a little bit of extra weight to it, and have it drop down. You're going to mostly feel this in your groin, typically. Um, there is times you can feel it somewhere else, and that's perfectly fine, as long as you're not feeling pinching or a stabbing pain, anything like that. Now, if we want to add extra stability to that, we can take it into a figure 4 or a butterfly bridge. Now, this is too hard, stay in the first position, but if you're looking for an extra challenge, you can come here. So we want to maintain that stretch on the right hip as we drive our left foot down into the ground and do a bridge on one side. Remember, we always talk about mobility and strength like they're completely different things, but they're both dependent on each other. So you have to have the mobility to get to a position, but the strength and stability to stay there. Great. Let's go and drop to the other side. We'll do that single-sided butterfly stretch. Again, you can add your hand if you want to add a little bit more stretch. And for those looking for more of a challenge, go ahead and bend your right knee and bridge up. Slow and controlled. Control your breathing. You shouldn't be panting or out of breath. You're putting that much effort in. I want you to go back to the previous position and find that steady breath again. Let's do 2 more. If you're still holding that stretch, you're doing great. Keep it up. You've got about 5 more seconds. Awesome. Now we're going to go back and we're going to drop into that original butterfly position. And then we're going to add another bridge movement on it. So butterfly, get those hips flexed up as much as you can. You're going to press off the ground. So you're going to feel your glutes work, but you're also going to feel a stretch straight through those groin muscles. Those will really open up your internal rotation, which is going to be your trail leg on your backswing and your lead leg on your downswing. A lot of times people actually have back pain because their hips don't move well enough and their back is perfectly fine. It's just trying to compensate for something else. Let's go with 3 more. That's 1 and 2. Maintaining that controlled breathing. And 3. Great. Now we're going to go back into that original bridge position. And we want to do a few more, making sure we're readily addressing that strength component. If they're easy, you can do single leg bridges, or you can stick with the 2-leg variety, whatever fits you right now. You might notice that right now you need to do 2 legs. In 3-4 weeks from now, you've gone through this video a few times, and then you want to take on 1 leg. That's really what all these videos are about, trying to get better and get into some of those more advanced positions, and then to reap the benefits on the golf course. Great. Now, from that bridge position, you want to keep your knees where they're at. You're going to let your feet wiggle out to the side. So that's going to give you a little bit of an angle so that your knees are inside of your feet. Now, we're going to bring both of them out, and we'll let one of them drop in. So let's let that left knee drop in. Feel a stretch on the outside of your hips, and back out. So let the right knee drop in. So you feel a stretch, and come back out. I'm going to do a few of those each. Now, you're probably becoming very familiar with me saying this, but go with whatever feels best. If you want to get into this position and you want to hold and get a 20 or 30-second stretch off of the hip, absolutely do it. If you would rather go back and forth, bobbing between the end range and the position, and feel that same stretch for a second or two, but 10 different times, do that. And if you have other ideas of movement or what feels best for your body, trust it and go with it. We'll give you time for a few more on each side. Check in with your breathing, make sure it's controlled still. All right, now we're going to do another modified version of a bridge. So we want to stay in that position where you have your knees just inside of your feet. Now you're going to press your feet down and you're going to bridge up. And we'll do several repetitions of this. If you want a little bit more of a challenge, try and hold that top position. What you're probably going to feel is a little bit of a stretch on the outer, maybe bottom portion of your hip. You might feel your quad stretch out a little bit. That's fine too. Again, as long as you're feeling stretch and strain and tension and not pain, nothing that should be sharp or stabbing or pinching. Let's do 3 more. 1, 2, and 3. Perfect. So we spent a lot of time on the inside and the outside of the hips, the back of the hips, and we want to make sure we still address the front of the hips. So we're going to go into a kneeling position and stretch the hip flexor. I see a lot of people get this position wrong, and what they do is they just go as far forward as they can. What I would rather you focus on is take your hips and make sure you rock your pelvis so that it's nice and even underneath you. So if you poke the front and the back, it should be about the same height. Once you get that position, then you can shift forward, and that's when I start feeling the stretch through the quad and through the hip flexor. If you're way out here, most likely it means you're not controlling your pelvis. So we want to hold that position, and that's how we get a real true stretch of the hip flexor. We can add a little bit more on top of that and go with a turn. Use your opposite knee for some leverage. Really open your chest up. Now, not only are we addressing the hips, but the upper back, the lower back, and becoming a little bit more dynamic. As always, you can always hold a stretch instead of moving back and forth between it. Whatever feels right for you. Let's go ahead and drop that other knee down. We'll switch legs. Same position. Again, you want to make sure you control that pelvis. Then you can shift forward and feel out the stretch. And if you want to add a little bit more, turn. Just make sure as you turn, you don't lose that position on your hips and stop getting a stretch through your hip flexors. Great. Hopefully your hips feel loosened up. If you want to, you can restart this video, run through all the stretches again, or just stick with one or two that are your favorites. Either way, there's going to be more videos addressing your hips and every other body part coming soon. Thanks, guys.